yourself, and how you, it's basically all of yourself. So when you fill this out, you don't have to worry about anything. It's just basically, just about do what you like, what favorite movie, do you like watching movies, watching sports, or have any problem in filling out this application. You fill out these forms and then you send it, or on the forms at the end, you send it these application forms, and then they get back to you once you are selected for the next round. They get back to you, and the next round is an online interview. So because there are a lot of applications, and the evaluation process is very thorough, so you need to be very genuine and very respectful. So if you have if your like first application is processed, evaluated, and you're going on to the second round, it's an online interview where you are mostly asked questions about the form that you have submitted or the form that you have sent to the address that you were required to. So this online interview, I'll give you some tips on the online interview that might help you out. The first thing, I think the most important thing, is you being genuine, of how genuinely you filled out the application form, and how genuinely you know yourself, and how would you answer those questions asked from you about that application form. So if you have filled that application form by yourself, like very truthful, very genuine, so I don't think you would have any problem in this part of the application process. The online interview would be mostly about the application that you have submitted. Then after this online interview, you are evaluated again, and you would be sent a medical form that you would be needed to fill with the help of a doctor. It could be a family doctor, it could be a friend that you know is a doctor, or it could be anyone that you trust. So a doctor that can fill out that form for you. And it's mostly about vaccines and your health, basically. So they test some things out, and then they write the results, and then that's how, if you're selected for the next round, you need to fill out this M form, and then you need to be in an in-person group activity, in an in-person interview for the next round. So after the online interview, there's an in-person interview as well. So in this in-person interview, basically, you bring the M form with you, the filled M form, and then there might also be other documents that they will let you know what to bring and what not to bring. So in this in-person interview, you would be required to write a few essays on, these essays wouldn't be like pre-written by you. You would have to write them on spot right there. So these are not like some hard, exam essays or something like that. What we had was that, it might have changed now, but what we had was we had these situations given to us that imagine you being in another family in another country, and then this happened. So what would your reaction be? So they actually wanted us to write down what we would do in that, if we were put in that situation. Most of these situations are very realistic, so these could happen to you when you're there. So that's why they want to check of how you would handle these situations. So they just want to know what we're gonna send, like which person is right for being there and which is not. So one, you have these, and second, you would have in the same in-person interview, you would have group discussions or group activity, where you would be seen you would be evaluated on how you interact with people, how you talk to friends, how respectful you are, how genuine you are. So be as respectful as you can in these in-person and in the online interview, because that's what really matters. And be respectful, also participate a lot. Don't be like shy and sit in a corner. Be very active, but also be very respectful, and do not insult anyone else. That is, I don't think that would even make you qualified for the next round, let alone the final selection. So after this, you have an in-person one-on-one interview where every single individual, every single participant is required to have an in-person interview with the yes staff. They would ask you about you. They could ask you about anything. They could ask you what your habits are. They could ask you to introduce yourself. It's just all about you. So as long as you're very confident about knowing yourself and you're very truthful in the previous rounds, so this in-person interview won't really affect you either. So just be very calm and be very genuine, be very respectful, and you'll get through it. So after this in-person interview, they evaluate you again, and you are then gonna go to the next round if you're selected for the next round. So the next round is an LTIS test. It's an English language test for international students, where you have a listening test, a writing test, and all those English related tests. So this is not like hardcore English or like very literature type English. It's just your basics, and they check if you are like eligible for being in a country where all they speak, or most of the language, like the very common language they speak, is English. So they just want to make sure that you would be able to survive in a country where English is the major language, is the main language. So these are just basics. Just make sure that you have good listening skills and you know your basic English, like how we interact, and your grammar is correct. So if there's like some questions about grammar, you could easily do those. Then after this test, you are evaluated based on the application form you first submitted, your online interview, and then the third, your in-person proctored essays and group activity and in-person interview, and then the LTIS test. So these four steps are the major, like combined. They are combined, and then you're evaluated based off them, and then you are notified if you are selected for the final round. Like if you have qualified everything, and if you are able to now be a part of the youth exchange and study program. So this was the application process, and then it might seem like there are a lot of steps, but trust me, it's very, like, everything's gonna go very smoothly, and it's not very something like hardcore academic type thing. It's nothing like that. It's just your basics, and it's all about you. So as long as you know yourself, I think you're good to go. And the next would be, so when you qualify for this, you would have sessions probably on, or pre-departure orientation before leaving. So you would have to like be done with your M form, your medical form, where you have to be done with all the vaccines that you're required to leave the country, and then everything else. And then after all of that, before leaving, so you are actually grouped into a lot of different groups where you are placed under placement organizations. So there are different organizations that would be responsible for you and responsible to place you in certain families and certain schools and certain communities. So you don't need to worry about finding a family for yourself. Those are all taken care of. You just need to prepare to go there and have a blast. So before leaving, you have everybody comes together. They have a pre-departure orientation, and it's probably a 5-day orientation. We didn't have one because it was COVID. Well, that sucks for us, but it's supposed to be very fun, and it's supposed to be very educative. It's supposed to help you a lot. But we did have sessions, pre-departure sessions before going. They were just like the Zoom meetings, and they tell you everything you need to know, everything you need to pack, everything that would come in hand when you go there, and they warn you about everything that you need to know. So you don't really need to worry about, oh my God, like what should I do? How many bags do I get? How many clothes should I pack, or should I buy this, should I buy that? And also one more thing, when you go, like, always get some presents for your host family, because it's always nice to have something to give back to your host family, because they are going to host you for a semester or probably an entire school year. So if they're doing that, the least you could do is pack some presents for them, and then surprise them with some of your cultural things. So that was the application process to when you go. And then when you're placed, they let you know the family, and then you agree to it, and then you contact them, and then that's how you get to know them before even leaving. So that's like kind of really a plus point if you have like, if you don't know how many family members you have, how many girls, how many boys. So you always get to know those things first, so you don't need to worry about them. So that was the application process, and it's nothing to worry about. Trust me, it's very easy. It's going to go very smooth if you're applying for it, and it's just very not very hardcore things. It's gonna go smooth. So don't worry about it and start applying, and just go with the flow, and everything's gonna go very smoothly. So when I first went, so I just got to know about my family probably like a few days before, or maximum a week before. So like, it was not very hard for me to get them presents at that moment. So I just got them some cultural clothes, and then cultural hats for the boys in the family. And I already contacted them how many they are and what would they like from me, and all that. But of course they said nothing, but I still got them something. So we went, and then when I got to the airport of where my family had to meet me, they surprised me with a huge banner saying "Welcome home, Annie." And then it was kind of like, it was the first time I was meeting them, and it really didn't feel like it was my first time meeting them, because they made me feel so welcomed. So I feel like every exchange student, when they first met their host family, they did feel welcomed a lot, because of how much like warm welcomes they give. So they had this huge banner for me ready, and they were like all excited, and I could see it in their faces. And I was a bit nervous. I was like, okay, do I just go and hug all of them? What should I do? But they just, my mom, she came in and she gave me a hug, and she was like, how was your travel? And how she was treating me like she has known me for years. So that really made like everything go very smoothly, and I was not nervous at all after that. So, and then they surprised me with a gift basket, and I was not expecting that at all. And they had some candies and some utensils that I would use, and all of those things that like are used for daily routine, like towels and socks and everything. Like, candle and all those fancy things. So it was very, very, like, I felt so good to be there. They made me feel so good to be there. So that was my first day. And then on my first day, after all that traveling, it was very surprising of how, like, I was not jet lagged. I went straight, like, there was a game. It was Friday. So I arrived in my host community on Friday. So there was this football game going on in my high school where my brother also went to. So they asked me if, like, you're not tired, you want to go and watch the football game. So this is American football, okay? So I've never seen such a thing in my life. I'm like, sure, like, I'm not tired at all. I was so excited to meet them that I didn't feel tired. Like, I was not tired at all, and I wanted to do, like, all these exciting things, because American football, I didn't know a thing about it, and I was so excited to go with them. So I said, no, you know what, let's go. So we went there, and then I met my brother, my host brother there, and then I watched the American football for the first time in my entire life, and trust me, I did not get what they were doing. Like, I was like, what are they even doing? This is not even football. And everyone was like explaining to me the rules of how they're playing, and now what would happen, and then how many points do one receive when like things like this happen. And I'm like, you know what, I don't think I like this very much, because I was not used to it and I didn't understand it. So they were just running with like the ball in their hands. Like, I'm like, that's not football, is that? So that was an experience. And then I also I also saw the band. The band was playing, and it was a sight worth seeing. It was really like something new and something that I've never even imagined of seeing in real life. So of course there were a lot of other very, very fun experiences down, like, throughout the year, but this first day had a really big impact on my exchange year. And the first day was so exciting that the night went back, the first day I went back, I slept, and I was thinking about when will tomorrow come so that we can do something new. So the whole journey through, like, every single day we did something exciting, something fun. So there was, like, never a boring day. And when you go there, like, you're not only doing, like, things at home, but even at school, you engage in so many different things. You have these different types of sports seasons that you could join if you want to. And there are so many clubs, so many communities you could join, that I didn't even, like, I don't think that I've ever seen someone even talk about those, like, so many communities or committees and clubs here in, like, this in school. So it was something very intriguing for me and very fascinating to see everyone involved in something. Like, no one was ever just going to school and coming back home, going to school and coming. They always had an after school activity. So that was very fun. And, like, they had the chance to hang around more people, communicate more with others, and engaged with the community. So that was very fascinating for me, because here what we do is we just go to school, come back, do our homework, prepare for tests tomorrow, and then return back to school the other day, and then, just study and then come back. And then we just have one sports class, which is mostly by the end of the school year. It's exam season. It's taken by some biology or physics teacher. So that was very fun. Hanging out with friends after school, doing, like, activities after school. So I also got to learn a new sport. So I really wanted to learn swimming. So there was swim season, and even though I had never swum in my life before my exchange year, I was very excited to join that season. So join the swim club, and I did join it, but of course I didn't know how to swim. So my coaches, they started off with me being able to hold my breath underwater. That was my first ever swim, club experience, that I had to learn the art of being able to hold my breath underwater. So that was a fun experience. And then gradually what happened is I worked and worked. I went to the swim club every day. It was required to, it was open. And I slowly, I was able to remain underwater for long. I was able to float underwater without my toes touching the ground. So that was a plus point. And then slowly I learned how to swim on the shorter side of the pool. So if I, somehow drown, I could use my legs and stand up. And then slowly I learned how to float in the deep end of the pool. And then slowly I learned how to swim in the deep end. And then finally, by the end of the season, I was able to compete in a swim competition and make it from one end to the other. So that was a very, growing period of my swim club thing. So my coaches were so proud of me. They were like, you know what, you're the student that has shown the most growth in this season. So I'm like, yeah, I didn't know how to swim, and now I, compete in a competition. So that was a very fun season. A club I joined, and I also got appreciated for it. So now if I drown in some river or ocean, I can save myself, probably. I hope so. I've not forgotten how to swim. But I also joined another season. So when the swim season ended, I joined track and field, where you know you could run a mile, you could do sprints, long run, or track. You could do jumps and everything. There were so many options that you could choose from. So I also joined that, and I think I joined a lot of clubs as well. I joined the drama club at first, but we never ended up having to do a drama because of all the COVID issues happening in between. So it was canceled, but I was a part of it. I did audition for a role, a character, and I did get it. But at the end, I couldn't do it because of all the COVID things. But I was also a part of the science academic team. I was a part of the track and field, as I told you, the swim. I was part of the national. It's like the national committee. So it's like based on your GPA, the highest your GPA is, you are able to enter that committee where they do volunteer work and all of that. And then we also did a lot of volunteering from our exchange community, like the exchange students in our community. We gathered and we did a lot of volunteering in the community. We mostly helped a cat shelter where we prepared the food and we cleaned the place for the cats, and we prepared their home clean and tidy so they could live peacefully in there. So we did a lot of volunteering there. But when you go, you have to give back to a community that is giving you an opportunity to live there with them, and being so nice to you, and being very respectful, and respecting your culture, and being very nice and learning about your culture. So that's the least we could do. So we did a lot of community service as well, and my family was very kind enough and nice enough to take me on a lot of trips to different cities. So that was an experience that I really enjoyed. I had the chance to travel to a lot of cities in America, and one like some of them would be. So I was placed in Indiana. It's like a small in Portland, Indiana. It's like a small what do you call it, like a small town, like a small county in the state. So it didn't really have, it's like very farming and all those agriculture, those type of towns. So it like didn't really have that much scenery and like fun activities to do. So we went to a lot of cities. We went to Nashville, we went to Chicago, we went to Florida, we went to New York, and we went to probably more than that, but I don't recall all of them. But it was such a fun experience that my family was kind enough to take me on these trips, and be able to explore, a huge country. So, like, of course, we all have that New York dream, the Times Square dream. Everyone, like, we have watched it in the TV, on YouTube, like videos coming across on when we scroll. So it was like a dream come true, if that's like the word that I can put it in. It was so fascinating to be there. It was so nice to experience it firsthand, and it was like a magical experience, to be honest. And when I went to Times Square, it felt like I was inside of my screen. Like, it felt unreal, and we took so many pictures. So I also had my double placement. She was from Malaysia. She came for a semester only. So we had so much fun together. And we went to Chicago multiple times. We went to the Bean, the famous the Bean. That location is very pretty. The reflection from the Bean is gorgeous, and the buildings in Chicago, the tall skyscrapers, they are so gorgeous. They're like, I didn't want to take my sight off them. Like, the scenery was so pretty. It was straight out of a movie. If like To be honest, it was straight out of a movie, and it was so like unreal experience. And I think that, yes, gave me this opportunity to be able to a part of a family that I have never known, and now I talk to them like they're my own mom, my own brother, my own sister. So they gave me another family in the other side of the world. They gave me friends from all over the world. We had exchange students in our school, in our community, from Turkey, from Spain, from Germany, from Italy, from Malaysia, from Indonesia, from Japan, from Kyrgyzstan, from Kazakhstan, from Tajikistan. So I was like meeting with people from all over the world every single day. So it was very fun to be part of that experience. And I think, yes program is a program that gives you this opportunity, and I am forever grateful to that. And I think, let alone this unreal experiences and the scenery and the family, you get to like find your identity, I would say. So when I first, before leaving to the US for this program, I didn't really, I don't, if I, my thoughts were not composed, is what I would say. Like, I didn't really know what I wanted, what I liked. Like, I didn't really know myself. That's what I think, like, in comparison. But when I went there, it's like you don't have those, footsteps that you need to follow, or something that everybody likes, so you like it too, right? So you're like your own self, like a new person going out there in the world where nobody knows you. And when they are getting to know you, you get to know yourself as well. You get to find your real identity when you are telling people about yourself. I feel like that is what the real you is. So I think beside all these unrealistic experiences, fun experiences, I think I was able to grow as a person, and my mentality definitely uh, became more broadened. Like it broadened a lot, I would say. I can now be able to think from so many perspectives than I was before. And like above all, I think I found I found a change in myself in a spiritual way. Like I didn't have that before, and I think the amount of experiences that I have added to me getting to grow as a person and me getting to know myself better. So by the end of the exchange here, I felt like I was so I could do anything. I felt like if I put my mind into something, I am good to go. If I am like I kind of felt independent, you know, in a way you could say that I didn't really rely on others as much as I did before, if that makes sense. So I was very, you know, like I just was someone who would do what what my mom and my dad probably would say, like what my sisters and brothers would do. I would like, okay, let's do that. But I think by the end of the year, I was like, okay, I like that. I want to do that, and let's do that. So that's how I grew as a person. I got to know myself so much better than I did before. I found myself in a way, you could say, and it was like such a beautiful experience where I literally felt like I grew as a person, and I literally felt like it was having positive impacts on me as the day passed by. So experiencing that type of feeling is, I think, phenomenal. I feel like I talked so much. If you have any questions,
Thank you so much, Annie, for sharing your inspiring journey with us. The last time I saw you was before your exchange program, and I now see a completely grown up, mature woman in front of me. And I'm so
really,
proud of you. I'm so proud of you, and you
thank
have changed
you.
a lot. You have grown a lot, mashallah. And so, looks like we have some questions ready in the chat box. So, let's get started with those, and I'll read
Mm-hmm.
out the questions and then you can, share your thoughts on them. Okay.
Okay.
So we have a question which says like, how do I prepare for the interview? There are two interviews you mentioned, right? The in-person interview and the online interview. How are those two interviews different, and how can one applying for can actually prepare for the interviews?
As I said, I don't think like you. Okay, so the first online interview is based on your application form. So I don't think you really need to prepare anything for that. Just go through your application form and be like know what you've written there, so that you get like you know what to say when they ask you questions about the application form. And for the second one, as I said, what all you need to do is just be yourself. It's all about the the questions, or the questions in the interview, the everything, the proctor essays, the proctored essays that you have to write. Everything is about yourself and what you would do, what you would think. So as long as you are able to know like yourself that much to answer those questions, I think you're good to go. You don't really need to study some English grammar for the interviews, or get like take out some books and just practice speaking in English to your friends, or anyone you want, so that you are very fluent and you can be able to speak your mind at that specific point.
Yeah. And the other question we have is what sort of activities should be mentioned to make sure, we continue later in the US writing or anything? For example, something you're not good at, but you just want to mention in the, in the document just to get selected. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, if it's asking about your habits, I think you should definitely write down something you have done before or is like actually your habit or you like doing. But you could also, it's not like whatever the question says, you could like the same exact answers you have to give. You could also write, even though those are my habits, but I also love the idea of being able to, uh, you know, ride a horse, even though I've not gotten the chance, but I would love to. So if you have a opportunity in the States, or your family might make an opportunity for you to ride a horse, so you could mention that you want to try that, and you love the idea of horse riding. But I think for the habits and everything else, I think you should do what you have like already done or is your habit, so that you're not lying, you know.
Yeah, that makes completely sense. And like the mostly the age range in which the students applies like 13, 14, in which the English proficiency level is not like very good, you can say up to the mark. So if somebody has that problem of communication, how can they, like, what are the ways you suggest to improve?
Okay. So I also forgot to mention the age. It's the age, I think, is 15 to 17 for the YES program, and you have to be in grade 9 and 10 for you to be eligible to apply for this program. But for the communication thing, as I said, you could you could first of all start with watching English videos where the main language they speak is English. So and so then you could use those words, those sentences, those language with your friends. You should, the first thing for speaking a language, any language, is for you to speak it yourself. Like you should hear yourself saying those words. Those words coming out of your mouth should be heard by you, so that you know what you're saying. So I think the very first important thing is you practicing, like speaking with your friends, speaking with your, you know, could be your family, or you could find anyone
Hello.
online, speak with them, your friends, anyone. But the most important thing is practice speaking, so that you don't have any communication, gap left. I would suggest that.
Yeah, that
Hello.
uh, we have a question, I guess. Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, so thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. So I want to ask, this program was like they will open the application on 15th of August, but still they're not open. So can I let me know that when will they open?
I think their dates are in September to October. Um, but I'm not sure where they said 15th of August. You should follow them on Instagram and Facebook probably. But on Instagram, they do update on when they are opened. So you should probably follow those accounts, and then you'll get to know when they're open. But I don't think they're open on 15th of August. They'll probably open in September to October. That's mostly their
Okay, yeah, thank
month
you so
range
much. Well,
of,
I am really glad.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I was saying that I'm ready to apply for the YES program, but as I'm eligible, so I'm thinking of it to apply next year. And well, yeah, I have all the Instagram, I mean, all the Yes batch, this batch, and the previous batches. Also, I have a lot of friends where I get help from them. So as I'm 13 now, so I'm gonna apply next year, 14 when I'll 14. So my birthday will come in the next year, like 26. So then I'll be eligible.
Okay, that's great. I think, yeah, you should probably get some help from your friends and you'll be good to go. Good, best of luck.
Thank you so much. But I have this. I mean, I have this kind of fear that what if I don't get selected? I'm like really dying for it. It's been like 3 years.
It's you, as long as you're doing everything correctly, I don't think there's a chance for you to get rejected. So don't worry about it. Just give it a go, and you'll see you'll be in the United States of America soon.
Thank you so much. You're so sweet. One question, if you don't mind. That'll be the last question. The
Yeah,
question
sure.
is that can I have your Insta? Yeah, sorry. So can I have your Insta account or something so we can chat about the yes program and the application? Only if
My
that's okay.
Instagram. I'll let um, Imrana know if that's fine,
I'm so sorry. My internet connection is very
and
bad,
then she
so I
can
couldn't
get
hear
back
what
to
you said.
you.
Oh, I get it. No, thank you so much. I'll text her.
I said I'll let Imrana know, and then she can. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Please do
Thanks
follow
so
our
much.
Girls Chat page and do contact us on LinkedIn or to our WhatsApp community so that I can help you out with that.
Okay, so there is the app you mentioned, LinkedIn. I don't know what to say that, but that is, I think it's for grown-ups. So I uninstalled it.
No. What I'm saying is, do follow us and let us your what questions you have in your mind, and we'll get you connected to Syeda Aneesa, if that makes sense.
Thank you so much.
Okay. I guess Harim had a question if her connection is stable enough to ask that.
Okay, I also wanted to mention that if you have a very specific query, you can also email us on our official email ID. Just be very sure about the subject and also tag the speaker that you were interested in answering that question and the session. And we can also get back on your query through that. Apart from that, all the social media platforms are available to you. My question, first of all, amazing, Syeda, and so you are like very. I like the enthusiasm and with how you were speaking, it really reflected that you enjoyed it a lot, and you enjoyed the program, and you were motivated to promote that because it was something life changing for you. So my question would be more targeted towards your future goals. I know that you have exposure of the U.S. education system as well right now. So, how has it modified your future goals going onwards, or how has it changed your career trajectory? If you could please reflect on that.
Sure. First, when before I was, and also thank you for the compliment. But before I was on my exchange year, as I already said, was doing what my mom and dad really had me put on. Like I was like, sure, if you want me to do that, I'll do that. You know, that type of person. But when I went there, I was very involved in community service. I was very involved in engaging with others. And my mom was actually a family, like the family dispute kind of manager. Like she used to work in an NGO which helped out people with family problems. So it was really like something that everyone around me was very into helping out each other and helping everyone, the community, helping them out and doing something better for the society. So I was really encouraged by that, and I felt like that was something we all should be looking for in life, helping out when someone needs help and doing something for them. So now when I think about my future, I see myself as someone who would do her best in bringing a change to the society. Bringing a change in terms, could be in terms of, you know, fighting for someone's rights, could be in terms of getting a better view of the world, or, you know, improving the education system. So right now I am doing journalism. So I want to be able to be a voice for the unheard people and voice for those who need my help. So if that answers your question.
Yeah, that was a really like reflective answer. One other question is that, since I am also a US alumni and I had exposure to that system, there's a lot of internal scholarship opportunities that the people, students in Pakistan are not aware of. They're only aware of some trademark scholarships who are big names, etc. But they're not aware, really up to date about a lot of internal funding that the universities offer on the basis of GPA when you get admission in undergrad. So, have you been able to research that a bit, and can you share some insight regarding that?
Are you talking about being a YES alumni and then getting scholarships? Is that what you're saying?
No, I am more focusing on like you have basically 1 year of your high school has been in US, and like right now many of the students have plans of pursuing their undergrad abroad, but they are not aware of opportunities in some of scholarships and sponsoring, etc. So are you aware of any opportunities in that regard, or are you planning on availing any, so that you're going to maybe share a little bit of with our participants so that they
I'm not very well, like, thoroughly aware of every like scholarship out there for the undergrad, but there is this one scholarship that I'm aware of. It's called Stipendium Hungaricum. It's like Erasmus Mundus, or it had that kind of name. It's a scholarship in Hungary where you can study like the undergraduate studies in Hungary, and it's an HEC scholarship. So you could search that up if that helps you, and then you could, yeah. I don't really know a lot of undergraduate scholarships that I don't. Nothing comes in mind except that one as of now. Yeah.
That's okay. Just wanted a general overview because this is a question the students ask a lot that, after we have finished high school, basically this is a year of high school there. So we are looking forward to again going back here and pursuing opportunities. My one other question is that, you have been exposed to the American education system, and that is so different from Pakistani system. We are, and it has more similarity to the A levels and O level system. Was it difficult coming back and then adapting back into the system, or did this thought ever cross your mind that maybe I should go for the A levels? Like maybe you could reflect on that.
Sure. The okay, so so the problem is, because of COVID, I was supposed to go after my 10th grade, but because of COVID and 1 year delayed, so I went after my 11th grade. So coming back, of course, it is very different from Pakistani system. It's like very, very different. So when I came back, it was hard for me to adapt back, but not in terms of academics. I would say it was more hard in terms of just like adjusting to readjusting to the environment. So the academic weren't really a problem for me. Also, after 11th grade, I had to like redo 11th grade again as an A level, so I didn't. But I do know there's a lot of people more easy coming back from their exchange student and doing A levels, so that could be your option as well. But because of my a year problem, I couldn't really do that. But I I probably would have planned on doing that if I went on 10th grade, but because I didn't, so I don't really have much to say about it.
Okay, thank you. That was actually quite like, I understand what your point of view was. And thank you so much for answering my question. That's all from my side. And for being here today.
You're welcome. You're so
If
welcome.
there are any more questions you guys can ask before we conclude our today's session. I guess that's it. Thank you, Annie. On behalf of everyone here today, I want to extend, a heartfelt thank you for taking the time to share your experiences and insights with us. And we really appreciate how honest you are and how enthusiastic you are. It was like everything was coming out of your mouth, like straight to our hearts. But it was emotional and was relatable as well. So thank you once again for being with us today and for contributing to what has been an engaging and informative session.
Thank you so much for having me, first of all. All of this, like talking about everything on my exchange year, is always fun, and I always enjoy it. And I am very grateful that you guys enjoyed it as well, and I hope you did. And thank you once again for having me, and bye-bye, I guess.
Yeah, thank you again. Bye bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye.